So, hello everyone. A warm welcome to all the audience who have joined us today. I am Anuradha, HR professional in IT and services industry with strong experience in setting up and managing end-to-end HR function for businesses, especially the startups. I am very excited to be moderating this webinar, Reinventing Workplaces through Touchless Technologies, organized by Syngee Maxim Solutions, a global software player in next-gen technologies, consulting, product engineering, and solution offerings. In the aftermath of COVID, we all know the workplace dynamics have shifted quite drastically. Be it the virtual workplace scenarios or managing performance efficiency, work life balance, managing employee safety in workplaces where physical presence cannot be avoided, like, for example, in healthcare, retail, or public transport sectors. Dealing with all of these cannot is heavily relied upon using technology today. This is where it becomes imperative for us to reinvent these workplaces through touchless technologies. So here is a small video that I would like to play for our audience. So, with that introduction, I would like to introduce our keynote speaker today, Dr. Suliman. He's a medical doctor and trained radiation oncologist by profession. Also, as the CEO of Intelligent Digitalization, or IDIT in short, he's providing solutions for safe working environment through cutting-edge technologies like artificial intelligence, data science, and image recognition. Dr. Suliman, apart from his medical degree and residency programs, has completed MBA recently. He also served as the head King Abdullah International Medical Research Center. Dr. Suliman is a passionate entrepreneur and researcher with great interest in digitalization and digital transformation. He encouraged, supported, and mentored many researchers under his guidance, with a vision to improve the quality of life of Saudi nation by reaping the benefits of secure, sustainable, and safe environment. Dr. Suliman is helping many young Saudis in establishing their own businesses through innovative and disruptive technologies. Today, he will bring this very expertise to us about how digitalization can help us reinvent workplaces by addressing the problems we discussed just a minute ago, with stress on touchless technologies. So, a warm welcome to Dr. Suliman. Over to you, please.
Thank you very much, Anu. Thank you very much, Syngee Maxim. Thank you for all organizer. Thank you, Ravi, with your amazing team to make this happen. And it's very interesting topic and very interesting time. If you allow me, how I can be the presenter here and share screen. Perfect. So basically, as Anu mentioned, our topic is how to reinvent the workplace and make it touchless using the touchless technology. In the era of COVID-19, as you know, we call it the new normal. We are all more mindful for anything we touch in public area and in particularly the working place. And as you know, the Center of Disease Control, the CDC, they say business ought to make and arrange to diminish any common touch point within the office, and anything that cannot be evacuated ought to be cleaned or on any visit premises. And like entryway, handles, light switches, lift buttons, stairs, and the list goes on. So if we go medically, how is coronavirus can be spread? Is it stay or it can stay on the surfaces? All the researchers have conflicts in these matters, but we could summarize for you. The researcher have found that it can stay alive on the surface, and that was published in the New England Journals. And the study from April showed the new coronavirus can survive on plastic, stainless steels, and that was, for example, in cardboard, it can stay for 1 day. In the copper surface can stay for 4 hours. Plastic, it can stay alive for 2 to 3 days, and 2 to 3 days on the stainless steels. But also in May, the CDC updated their website and say it's possible, but unlikely for people to catch the virus this way. But we could find in 2 other studies, one from China, documented a possible transmission through an elevator buttons, and another studies from South Africa hospital where they found contamination from medical equipment transmitted the virus to human. If we go to the CDC recommendation, so what is the recommendation for that we should follow to prevent that? So the main thing in the CDC website recommendation was to practice routine cleaning of frequent touch surface. For example, tables, doorknobs, light switches, handle, desks, toilet. All those things have to be periodically cleaned, and make sure to follow all the instruction of cleaning those surfaces in workplace. And electronic, for example, you follow the instruction of the manufacturer to clean all those electronics, and consider the use of alcohol's disinfectant, and make sure all those things are clean. So this is the main recommendation, and this is step number 1 to have a safe environment. If we go to the WHO website, you will find the method of transmission of the disease, where they recommend, and what they stated, that COVID-19 can spread between people, mainly when infected person get close to a contact person who is sick, and also the other people can catch COVID-19 when the virus gets into their mouth, nose, or eyes, which is more likely to happen when people in direct or close contact within less than 1 meters. And also current evidence suggests that the main way of virus gets spread to people by respiratory droplets. And this is when they get close to a contact person. The virus also can spread after the infected people sneeze or cough, or on a touch surface, or on a surface, and that can be touched by another person, and they can, after that, they touch their eyes, their mouth, and this could happen, as we could see before, documented from 2 studies. So this is the conclusion of that. Transmission of the coronavirus occurs much more commonly through respiratory droplets, and cleaning of those surfaces is essential and step number 1. But the risk will be still there. So how can we keep individuals secure without interacting or interfering with their capacity to work and live? And you can think about it, everything around you, you can touch it with your finger and your hand. So the fingerprint, for example, scanner at the time of attendance, and also the shared telephone in the lobby, water coolers, vending machines, doorknobs, conference hardware, everything around you, you touch it, and it could be a risk for you to transmit the infection, or you can gain the infection from someone else. So what we need to do for that, in a touchless technology environment, we try to replace all traditional hardware with non-touch controls like gestures or voice and facial recognition, which we will talk about in the coming slide. And also there is great deals of automation and cross-platform integration, so that can take or perform the little to no physical touch. In the retail business, for example, if you check that, when a survey was done, 87% of the shopper would rather to visit store with a touchless surface, like for example, choosing the items, checking out with not touching any devices or anything in the shop, and this is the required by most of the people, and this is their wish. And from seeing all what happened in this industry, it's this need. The need of touchless technology is giving rise to a rapidly growing business, and expected value of this business will be around $15 billion dollars by the 2025. And now, in this moment, the value of this business is around 6.8, but it's growing business with a rate of 17.4% annually. So this is a huge business. So if you consider this as a risk, so how to implement touchless technology in your workplace? So I think step number one, you have to start by identifying the most common touch points in your building, and you do this survey with and should be in collaborating efforts between the employee and their management. And after you do your evaluation, I think step number one, you determine how much you want to invest in this matter. Like you determine your budget and evaluate the updated technology. And when you choose your technology, you make sure your technology is user-friendly, safe, secure, and effective to use. And it's not a difficult technology that wastes people's time. And when you go back to the history of the touchless technology, there is too many technology were around it before. Example, the automatic doors in retail or office, light that goes on when you get closer to the entrance, toilet that flush when the people get out of the washroom, sinks, soap dispensers, all those things are there before. So it's not, we are not inventing the wheels, but there's more and more new technologies. And if you see, this is one of the very simple technology that was invented by Epic, where the coolers, you can use the pedal kit that turns on device, like for example, in the cooler, if you need cold water, hot water, you can just use your food. And this is the very simple, straightforward, and it's not rocket science. But if you go further for more advanced technology, you will find different kind of new technology implemented in this business, including motion sensor fusion, camera-based gesture, proximity touch screen, short-range wireless or eye tracking, and voice recognition. So too many kind of technology, and we can take them one by one. And if you see now, the most advanced technology and the most effective, I think, technology now concept people trying to push for is the shift from a shared to personal devices. So you push people to use their own devices rather than have a device that can be shared by anyone. So, for example, when you are in the office, usually there is a shared control devices, for example, elevator, lighting, HVAC, and instead of that, if you have a wireless network, in the building, people can use their own smartphone, for example, by downloading the workplace app that can connect all those things together and have them controlled by the person's smartphone. And this concept, we call it BYOD, or bring your own device. And this is the way to go. And this is the most advanced way, or the most, I would say, the most safe way of using touchless technology in the workplace. And there's too many companies working now on how to make this happen. And one of them is our host here, Syngimax, and I think they have a very good application for people to use in for example, attendance, and by using their own smartphone rather than fingerprint screen or traditional way of signing in workplace. Also, one of the things that have been used in the workplace is the touchless visitor management. So instead of exposing the receptionist to illness or getting infection, you can use this app by signing to the workplace before you visit the office that you want to go to. And this is, you can send link, or you send link to download the application for your visitors before they come. They sign in this application, they answer some questionnaires to make sure they are not having the disease, they don't have the symptoms of the COVID-19, and also you can ask them if they have been in contact with a sick patient before they show up to the your office. And when they show up to the office, they have either QR code that can be scanned and make sure they are safe without exposing your employee to the hazard. So the touchless also access control in general, it's another crucial aspect of this decentralization of the system in contactless access control. So to ensure more frictionless, safer, and smart access control, there is a shift to a touchless technology for access becoming very crucial. Facial recognition also, the access control system is another good touchless technology that we will cover also in the coming slide. But the facial recognition system, there's too many issues that can be raised by your employee here regarding the security and their privacy. And this is one of the things that you have to address with your employee before using this. One of also the technology that can be used in workplace is use of voice-controlled digital assistants, and this is became a very popular. And as we know, these digital assistants have proved themselves in the personal life, and now it's getting popular in the shared building with a network, and it can be used to control too many things inside the office, and can be used by multiple employee rather than one. For example, you have Alexa for business, and it has two categories, personal and shared devices. And the shared devices are the ones that can be placed in public area. So the employee can simply give a voice command to a shared Alexa device, and it can control the office, the curtain, operate for example, the conference room, the audios, control, everything can be done from this device. Also, the use of gesture-based touchless technology, and this type of technology allow user to control a digital system with a motion gesture, like as simple as a wave of the hand or finger pointing, or even an eye gestures. And it have been gained a lot of popularity recently. So, and this gesture-based technology use the optical matrix sensor with the lens that detect the motion from the screen. Those optical sensor in some devices can come separately than the device, but in most of the recent devices are attached to the screen. And it can be with using finger pointing or fingers snapping or approaching the object motion or eye movement. If we move more advanced for the future of the touchless technology, there is what we call it mind-controlled interface, and this is a very interesting technology, and it's very rapidly growing, faster than the policy that should control this kind of technology. And believe me, it's a real. It's not a science fiction stuff, and scientists are working on enabling human thoughts to control this digital device. This technology were pioneered by Facebook, and it started within sensor implemented in the people brain. And when they start thinking, they could read their thoughts. But now it's getting less invasive by giving the people wearable devices that they can keep in their hands, and you can detect their thought, their behavior before they take any actions. This brain-computer interface is learned toward making assistive technology, and it's used to as a contactless in the workplace. Try to imagine being able to type hundreds of words per minute on your personal computer device by just thinking. It will bring complete shift in your workplace, and it's a huge thing. Also, startups company have been working on this for now since the COVID-19 issue started. And we could witness a lot of startup companies received a lot of investment in this. Like, for example, AnyVision, which picked up around 43 million in funding to work on touchless biometric access control and facial recognition to create a safer environments. And also, when you talk about new technologies and new company, you should mention NCO in the hospitality business, where they now filed around more than 10 patents in the business of hospitality, making the hotel room having touchless concept by browsing, for example, the TV, controlling the lights, controlling all your room from with the touchless technology. If we talk about the medical field, it's the one that moves very slowly. It's not like the other industries. But and the reason behind this, there is too many ethicals and scientific aspects that you have to cover before you reach the technology that can be used in the hospital. And of course, there is also FDI approvals and other authorities. So the movement of the touchless technology in the medical field is growing slowly. One of the things that we are working as IDIT with a team in England is called SNI Lab. We are partnering with them to adopt some of the technology they have reached. For example, the recipe sense. This is an uncontact device offering medical staff to have the ability to monitor vital signs of patient remotely without getting inside the patient room, especially those patients who get infected with COVID-19. So the nurse, she doesn't need to get inside and take the vital signs of the patient. Just by installing this device inside the patient room, we could take their vital signs while the nurse is outside the room. And this is very crucial, and we could see we lost too many healthcare professionals over the last few months because of they get the infection and they get themselves exposed to the risk. Other thing, other devices that they develop also, apnea sense, where you didn't need to connect the patient with anything. It's just this device in his room, and this was tried in for 12 months, January 2019, in Royal Babworth Hospital, where this device can monitor the patient breathing and detect if the patient develop apnea, which is the stop of breathing while the patient sleep. And there is too many deaths happened before. While the patient is sleeping, they stop breathing and nobody detects that. So this is a device that can detect the patient breathing without connecting them to any device or wire. So this is a very useful technology that will be used. So beyond any frictionless access and hygiene, when you use all those mentioned technology, you could see you would be able to collect too many data, and those touchless technology in workplace can collect the data from your worker, your visitors, and those data, it's the data of the employee and their interaction also. So it can be carefully analyzed, and it will give very valuable insight into how a better design to the environment and also to your workplace, and also studying all those people behavior and their interaction with each other, and also the interaction of the employee, their also performance. So you will be able to collect a lot of data, and it's limitless data. And from this, I'm sure there will be a lot of issues of privacy that going to be raised, and you will face it from your employee or visitors sometimes. So now, what to do after you know you can do a touchless environment in your workplace? So when you adapt this, you need to have your employee to take to not take this lightly, and you need to do some tips with them before you proceed further. When you study the workplace environment, you have to put your people first. So to make sure they will get comfortable with all this new technology that you are adapting, and make sure you are helping them first before you are helping the company or the organization. So your employee should be put in first by making sure this technology is convenient for them. And at the same time, you should keep it very simple, because sometimes when you get the technology very complicated, you will find people escaping from doing it or trying to avoid it, and you wouldn't gain anything after that. And this is very important. And the third thing, you have to focus on short term, and you plan for the long term. Focus on what you have first. You should have roadmap. You start with simple technology, simple concept, but at the same time, you should know where are you going, and you have end in mind before you take any actions. And this you will make sure whatever you spend will be worth it, and it will pay back when you complete your solution. So in conclusion, touchless is the key for a healthy workplace, and touchless technology is a fast emerging technology with a lot of growth opportunities, and this will be the modern way and the way to go, and it's the way that all company will adapt sooner or later. And while it's the most important element to keeping your office healthy from the front door to the inside the office. This technology it's not going to be optional anymore. At certain point, it will be a must, and you will be evaluated to be a safe place by having this technology adapted. So you have to be with the frontliners and make sure you adapted this technology as soon as possible. Thank you very much. I think the floor is open for any questions.
Thank you, Dr. Suliman. That was a wonderful, wonderful presentation with so many useful insights, I should say, especially in terms of already existing technologies that you have mentioned, which I, for one, definitely didn't know. Such wonderful technologies, and I'm really fascinated with what you told about mind control technologies. So, how far are we with this, Dr. Suliman, in your opinion, before we in common workplaces do actually see this kind of technologies coming up?
As I said, it's real. It's not something a dream or science fiction, and I think it's already been applied in Facebook company where they read your mind by how many likes you make, how many comment, the kind of comment you make, the videos you watch. So they are reading your mind before you take any actions. And try to imagine this is, I think, the beginning. But I think people now talking about from the wearable device that you have, the people, they would know what you are thinking, if you are in stress, if you are in a comfortable mood. All those things can be done. And believe it or not, from knowing your mood while you are typing, they would choose the word that you are typing. So it's very interesting technology.
Right. We are already seeing that with the ads that come up each time we browse something. So it's already to some extent there. But this kind of thing, I think, is going to revolutionize a lot of things for us. So I have a lot of questions, but I think we will wait for the audience questions to come up. So while that comes up, I think now healthcare is something that you have mentioned. So and you have mentioned quite a few names in terms of the solutions that are there in your presentation already. And I believe Sinji Maxim also has one which says. So I have one question here from Archana. How to ensure security isn't compromised when we enter into touchless technologies era? So, Dr. Suliman, this is for you. So, yeah, Archana, I guess Archana is the person who has asked me this question. So, security is definitely one, not just security, even the privacy part of it is one thing that I also would like to ask Dr. Suliman here about how it will be addressed with this touchless technologies. So security and privacy are two things that we are wondering about here.
Sure. Anu, can I take up that question?
Yeah, Ravi, please.
Well, see, security in terms of now, every user is using mobile devices. So mobile device has become an indispensable for anybody's life. So
right.
Now all the latest technologies are coming over the mobile. Like if you see the security aspects, so we are directly integrating all these measures, privacies and securities over to the mobile. And before taking any kind of privacy things, we are taking the consent from the end user. It's not like we are forcing anyone to use the technology. We are taking the consent whether they are willing to expose their privacies over the technology, like whether their name can be used, whether their email can be used like this. If we are using any third-party plugins or any third-party permissions we need from them. So we are ensuring that we are taking their consent before embedding any kind of technology into the application, into the solution. So that's why, so precisely what we are saying is that whatever the technology that we are rolling out to the users, we are ensuring that user is aware of whatever the security aspects that we are taking care of, and we are taking the consent from them.
Great, thanks, Ravi. So that's Ravi. The the founder of Sinji Maxim.
Sorry, I missed the question. The connection is very bad.
I see. Do you want me to repeat the question? So the question, though Ravi has answered it, I'm just repeating it, Dr. Suliman. How to ensure the security isn't compromised when we enter the touchless technologies era? So that's the question from Archana.
I think I think Ravi answered it very
Ravi
well,
did
but
answer. Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
but
Ravi did.
it's going to be a big issue with a lot of people, and it's going to be a big concern. But I think, as Ravi mentioned, the more ready you are, and make sure people they don't feel their privacy is violated, and in most of the cases you need to consent to them, especially your employee, and they need to know what you are going to do with the data. This is very crucial. And you could see by having all those smartphones, we agree about too many terms and conditions, and sometimes we didn't read it. But all those data definitely going to be used by the company, unless you explain very well for the user what you are going to do with those data.
So I guess that will also put responsibility on the companies that are bringing out these products to properly educate the end user about what are the security or the privacy concerns here, and educate them properly before the actual usage starts, I guess. The responsibility will also be with the product provider. I was just concluding that the responsibility of educating the end user about the security and the privacy issues will also be on the solution provider.
Absolutely, fully agree.
Yeah. So can we have next question? So I have a question coming from Sirisha. Many countries have several cultural sensitiveness, like women cannot show faces for scanning. How can a face recognition technology work during such scenarios? Okay, great question. So there is a question here about cultural sensitivity where women wear burqas or the pardas, where facial recognition cannot be possible. So how will these technologies help in such a scenario?
Yes, I think I didn't hear the question very well, but I guess the question was asking about the culture and the technology and the challenges between them. And I could tell you also the situation is also here in Saudi Arabia, where some they cover their face, and they don't want to show their face. I think that's all goes to the technology provider. I cannot enforce people to all the people to use one kind of technology, and that's it. If you don't use this, game over. No, I think we have to give the people option, and I think this is what Sinji Maxim doing in their, for example, one of their application of the attendance that Ravi talked about. They give you the options between, for example, using your location to prove your attendance, or using QR code, or using having selfie photos. Give the end user options, and please respect their culture and respect their privacy, rather than just enforce them to use one kind of technology.
Right. I guess, that answers it, because it cannot be enforced. We'll have to keep that cultural sensitivity in mind when enforcing these technologies, and give options to the end user. So great, thank you. And we have the next question here from Sandeep. Is geolocation better than device recognition?
Yeah, it is. But as I said, it all depends on the kind of area that, or the kind of area you are operating with. Because geolocations do help for certain kind of scenarios on the security. For example, facilities management, where you have to deal with different locations and different buildings, their geolocation is more prominent. But there are certain kind of cultural sensitiveness, we just answered, Dr. Suleiman has answered. If that is the case, geofencing would be a better option over the face recognition or biometric or thumb recognition kind of things. Having said that, there are other scenarios where you have to go with biometric, because that is a bit advanced security. For example, geolocations are all dependent on the internet, like where Google Maps are being widely used. So whenever you are going to use it, and if your internet connection is bad and your geo maps are not responding well, then there is an option to switch over for it. And for that, we would suggest to go for a more advanced technology like biometric on your mobile. And another part is that not all smartphones do support biometric like face recognition or thumb recognition kind of technologies. So it's always a failover plans. So it all will go in line. We can't say that one is better than the other. It all depends on the kind of mobiles they are using. Someone might be using smartphone, someone might not be using the smartphone. However, our solution has to cater all such kind of scenarios. So having said that, it is better to have all these things in place. Let the user takes the control of what he's comfortable in using it.
So Ravi, there are I'm sure pretty sure answered it comprehensively. So I have next question here. Recommendations to build a touchless workplace. So I think it has been briefly covered by Dr. Suliman, but if you can summarize it, what are the recommendations that you have for building a touchless workplace? So I guess this is a challenge that all pretty much all HRs like me will put forth to you, because that's HR nightmare right now, creating a safe workplace for all the employees, and to call them back to work, we really have to ensure. So touchless workplace does seem to be the way forward. So what are the steps? Can you comprehensively let us know?
I will just comment on that, and maybe you can comment after. As we mentioned, as a recommendation, first, you make sure your employee will be comfortable with what you are choosing. Put your employee first. Make sure they are all happy about what kind of technology you are using, and make them part of the decision making. So
Okay.
that will help. And at the
Put
same
your
time,
people
make
first,
it.
is it? You said put your
Yes.
people first so well. That's really impressive what you have said. So yeah. Sorry,
Yes.
continue.
Yes. And keep it simple. Don't make it complicated for them, because when it gets complicated, people will try to escape it and not doing it because it's complicated. And focus on short term and long term. That's very important, because sometimes maybe you will choose a technology now, but later on it's not gonna fit, or it's not gonna be part of your comprehensive or long term plan. So make sure whatever technology you choose, it will meet the requirement. And also don't forget your budget. Budget is very important, because investment. This is an investment, and this investment should meet your also budget requirement. So I don't know if you want to add anything, Rafi.
Okay, so to just add upon to what Dr. Suleiman has said is that yes, we have to make the technology simple, and we have to put employees in the first place. So a couple of recommendations for the workplace, considering the latest, definitely health is going to be the primary factor. So many companies wanted to replace their biometric devices. So for that, and many companies wants to ensure that whenever they are going to start the workplace, they want to ensure that the people are wearing the mask and people are maintaining the social distances. So these are the primary, like infection control is one. So for that, these touchless technologies do work. For example, thermal screening is one latest technologies, like IDIT is very specialized in providing thermal screening technologies. So all workplaces should get a camera installed which screens the temperature of the employees who are stepping into the office, and then ensuring that all the employees who are coming to the office are being properly screened or not. So that is one element that everyone has to take care of the future workplaces. And the second element that everyone has to take control is on the social distancing and face mask recognition kind of thing. So again, there are a lot of algorithms, AI kind of technologies are in place that helps organizations, especially HR departments or admin departments, to track whether the employees are maintaining the social distancing or not, whether the employees are wearing the mask or not. So these technologies are already in place. So we would strongly recommend all the workplaces to embed these three parameters in place. One is on the mask recognition. second on the social distance recognition, and third is the face recognition as an alternative to the biometric technologies. So on top of it, and good part is that these are not the new technologies. These all you might have seen these kind of technologies already in many airports, where especially if you travel to the African countries, you can see all these thermal screening temperatures because they have Ebola I mean, a lot of pandemics they faced earlier, and they have good technologies in place in their airports when you step into those African continent. So now these these technologies are already available at very affordable cost. I mean, HR department need not to focus much on the kind of new innovations, on the kind of new reinventions kind of thing. These all things are in place now. All departments have to look into how to implement these things in a better way by choosing the right vendor and by choosing the right devices. So this is the main factor that most of the departments have to focus on, instead of focus on what is already, I mean, what all the new things are in place. No, these things are already in place. Now it is the time for them to take the control and to market more and to put the things in right place to handle such elements.
Okay, so Ravi, I was saying that that was a really comprehensive checklist that you have provided. I think that really makes sense what you told about thermal scanning or the social distancing and the face mask recognition, especially. In the current workplace, if I take my own workplace, I think that is something that I would really like to go ahead with. So before any other question comes in, so I have a question. Is there any solution which has all the three features that you have just mentioned together, or all these three are like different solutions that are there in the market? So can we integrate all of them, and can it be integrated with the existing systems that we have?
Well, I maybe Ravi have more close contact with this kind of technology, but I think, as we mentioned, this is a very important concept. Having several options in the same time for the people to use. But I could tell you, not every company have this as a preference. Most of the company, they own one kind of technology or one kind of patent or technology, and they want to apply it because they are mastering this. But I wouldn't say very rare, but it's there. Most of the company, they don't have all kind of technology to integrate it in one device.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
Would you add anything, Ravi, to this?
You answered well, Doctor. I think that's it. I agree with you.
Okay. So we are almost near the concluding time. We can take a couple of questions if anyone has to put it out. Please feel free to send a message to me in chat, and I can put it out here.
Yeah, Anu, I think there is some person called Shweta Reddy. She has raised a question.
Okay. Okay, so the question is, what are the latest technological trends expected in the workplace management? Okay, that's a great question.
Okay.
So yeah.
Shweta Reddy is asking that, what are the latest technological trends expected in workplace management? Yeah, agree. Yeah, Shweta, as we just mentioned that most of them are temperature recognitions and mask recognitions and social distance recognitions. These are the primary things that we can expect in the near future, or the trends that we can observe in the workplace management. So there are several technologies available. I'm sure that there are many available. I mean, especially in India, there are big companies who are already doing it. Now, the biggest challenge that we can expect, as just Anu was mentioning, that are we going to integrate with the systems? Yes, because there are a lot of HR systems that are in place, they're intranets, and these all things, like especially these systems will go along with the payroll as well, because it is an indirect way of tracking the attendance systems. So along with these device integrations will go with your HRMS systems or ERP systems, then that will help in the payroll in an indirect way towards the end of the month. So coming to the trends, as again, I just want to reiterate that temperature recognition, mask recognitions, and social distancing recognition. These are the three things that we can expect in the solutions, and this will go like not as a standalone kind of thing. It involves both device plus software kind of solution. It is going to be an integrated solution, which the IT industry term it as an IoT. So it is an integrated solution that talks with the devices as well as software.
Okay, so I was just saying that this might be a great solution for the education industry as well, with it making it easier for the teachers to monitor that the students are equally paced, and there is no physical interaction, physical touch or interaction happening, which will help in controlling the pandemic that way. I guess that's about it from the questions, and we are also at the end of the session. So I would like to conclude by thanking Dr. Suliman, who has been kind enough to come and address everyone here and bring about such interesting points regarding the pandemic and the post-pandemic work trends and the cutting-edge technologies that we are all going to be using very soon. I think I will quickly order one pedal-enabled cooler, which seemed like a really interesting idea. Like he rightly put it, it is no rocket science, but such a simple solution to the current problems that we are facing in workplaces, along with more technological solutions that he has put out, like facial recognition enabled devices, or the voice control assistant devices, or the gesture control assistant devices. So all these things have been really put out here to the audience, and it has really educated us about how to go back to the workplace and reinvent it and make it a safe and sustainable place for all the employees. And thank you, Ravi, for organizing this and adding here with the kind of products that you are bringing into the market right now. So thank you everyone for being putting out really wonderful questions, and that's about it from my end, unless Ravi, you have anything else to add?
No, thanks so much for moderating this, and I would like to thank Dr. Suliman again to come over here, spending time and giving valuable inputs over this. Thanks so much, Dr. Suliman. It's all our pleasure to see you here and sharing your valuable inputs.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ravi. Thank you, Anu. It was my pleasure to be with you. And I'm sure this is not going to be the first webinar. There is too many things to hear from you also. And I'm happy to be part of the team. Thank you very much.
Thank you all.